Some of the most common MIMO preventative troubleshooting takes place on MIMO coin, beginning on top with the inspection tray. Always take a few seconds to sift through your coin before depositing into MIMO's coin counter. Don't rely on MIMO's super magnet to catch every bit of debris. Paper clips, rubber bands, staples, and other foreign objects could cause your MIMO to jam up if you're not careful to feed your coin gradually and examine your contents before each deposit. A lot of rubbish ends up in those till trays after a busy shift, and even a small piece of paper or something else could disrupt MIMO's functionality. Everything you see here has been pulled out of MIMO by one of our technicians and placed in our Hopper Hall of Shame. While you're at it, why not wipe out or vacuum that inspection tray and the compartment underneath every so often? Coin can get pretty dirty. If you have a significantly larger amount of coin, be sure to feed it in slowly, as loading too quickly can weigh down the hardware and halt the acceptance process. If you do experience an issue in the upper coin portion, remember that you can't lift the cover on the coin sorter until you remove the inspection tray. Simply pull the inspection tray straight back to dislodge it from MIMO coin. With the inspection tray off, you can now lift the cover of the coin sorter. Undo the black knob and lift up the disc to inspect for foreign objects that might be causing MIMO coin to be experiencing an issue. Once you've found and cleared the object, you'll need to replace the disc. It might be a little wobbly at first, but it's important that you rotate the disc until it's firmly seated in place. A wobbly disc can lead to additional coin errors, so this step is very important. Once your disc is seated, replace the black knob until it's tight, but be careful not to over-tighten. And don't forget to replace your inspection tray. There are several things to note when you're working inside MIMO Coin's safe portion. If you're experiencing issues during a coin dispense, be on the lookout for certain visual cues when examining your hoppers. We know there are 2 hoppers for each coin denomination, and MIMO Coin dispenses from both hoppers. So, if the coin levels between 2 hoppers of the same denomination look vastly different, where one is very full and the other is significantly lower, your focus should most likely be on the hopper that has the most coin, indicating MIMO is only able to dispense coin from the second hopper, which is why it has so much less coin. When manipulating the coin hoppers, remember that they can be damaged if not handled properly. Remember, every component of MIMO's hardware should feel very easy to manipulate. If a component feels difficult to maneuver, it's probably an indication that it's being improperly handled. If abused, the pins that connect each hopper to their station can even be bent and broken off. Along with treating the hoppers with care, you can also avoid pin damage by reviewing the proper way to operate the red handle that connects your coin hoppers. You should never need more than 2 fingers to move this handle down. If you ever feel resistance that requires more than 2 fingers worth of strength, it probably means your hoppers are not properly aligned. Forcing the red handle down can cause significant damage, and it's the main reason pins and hoppers become destroyed. Take a step back and investigate the positioning of your hoppers before trying again. You can also check the inside lights on the front of each coin hopper to examine any potential issues. A red light and a green light should be visible, indicating the hopper is operational. If you're troubleshooting and you still see red and green lights, this usually means the issue is a coin bridge that needs to be shaken loose. Simply remove the hopper and give it a few shakes to loosen up the coin and clear the jam. 2 red lights or 2 green lights could mean you have damaged connector pins or even a dirty sensor. If there are no lights on any of the hoppers, check that your MIMO coin is powered on. If the power is on, you may have one damaged hopper that's corrupting the others. With MIMO coin powered off, remove all your hoppers and replace them one by one to find your culprit. Plug in and power up each hopper individually, one after another, checking the lights on each before adding another. See which hopper causes the others to lose their lights. When it comes to preventing cache jams, the simplest approach is usually your best solution. Take the time to examine your cache before you deposit it into MIMO's cache slot. The most common issues with MIMO cache involve foreign objects making their way inside the hardware. Technicians have discovered coins, clips, rubber bands, and even pens inside MIMO cache. Bills that have been stapled, torn, or even stuck with gum can cause massive malfunctions. It may seem silly to have to remind users that only cash should be deposited into MIMO cache, but taking the time to thoroughly examine your bills can help to prevent a potential disaster. As is the case with MIMO Coin, most issues with MIMO cache can also be prevented by simply handling MIMO with care. If a component feels difficult to maneuver, never force it. Just take a step back and re-examine which tabs you're attempting to operate. Keep in mind most MIMO cache components are weight release, which means you might need to pull back on a piece of machinery before you can slowly move it forward. Remember not to use any tools when investigating a jam. If you can't clear the issue using only your hands, call the help desk before moving forward. If you're troubleshooting the top of MIMO cache, keep in mind your hand should always be on a green tab, wheel, or one of the circle-colored stickers. Each color and letter on the circle stickers corresponds to the same component. So, if yellow A1 opens the front section, you'll need to find yellow A2 to close that same section. You can also use the individual green drive wheels to help fish out any hard-to-reach bills. Let's do a deeper dive into MIMO's upper cache portion and examine which specific tabs and drive wheels to look for when performing some of the most common cache troubleshooting. Press purple B1 to slide the shutter open. Check inside the pocket for bills. Use the yellow A1 handheld tab to tilt the unit forward. Rotate green wheel A to move notes. Look for foreign objects like coin, paper clips, and rubber bands in this area. Lift green wheel C to open the note pass. Lift blue 1 to open the bill validator. Use B3 to check the back of the cache slot. You can rotate green wheel B to move notes. Lift orange D1 to open the UTR. You can rotate the green wheel D to move notes. Use the A2 tab in front to close the cache slot. Lift red E3 to open the escrow. Rotate green wheel E to move notes. Lift red E1 to tilt the escrow back. Use red E2 to close the escrow. Don't forget to check that all the USB cables are securely connected to the computer. This simple task could potentially save you a lot of time down the road. You should also check that the battery backup is active and that both line conditioners are properly connected to MIMO cache and coin. Luckily, each MIMO is covered in labeled stickers. Verify that the plug coming from MIMO cache is plugged into the line conditioner that's labeled SR7500, which refers to MIMO cache. The MIMO coin plug should be connected to the line conditioner that reads coin. If you're confused about which plug goes where, don't hesitate to call the MIMO help desk. All MIMOs ship out of our warehouse labeled the exact same way, so MIMO personnel will easily be able to assist. Most importantly, remember ARTS. Always read the screen. MIMO will sometimes display essential warning messages or custom notifications, and it's important that they be acknowledged to keep your MIMO running smoothly. If MIMO displays a message you don't immediately recognize, just take a moment to read the screen before deciding whether or not to continue. Common issues like till trays overfilling with coin, cache cassettes jamming from becoming too full, and even certain hardware malfunctions can all be easily avoided by simply reading the screen.